Welcome to CoreTV News and Hour with me, Sabena Isoku. President Jonathan says the federal government has invested $8.26 billion in the power sector through the National Integrated Power Project. Jonathan disclosed this at the inauguration of the 750 megawatts Oloroshogo 2 power station at Oloroshogo in Ifo local government area of Ogun State. Napoleon Mome has the story and is presented from our studio. The president, while speaking at the inauguration, explained a total of $650 million of the amount so far spent on the National Independent Power Project was committed to the Oloroshogo power plant.
The federal, states and local governments have so far committed about $8.26 billion on NIPP projects through the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, that is the popular NDPAC, out of which some $650 million was expended on the construction contract for this Oloroshogo power plant.
Jonathan added there are 10 other power projects ongoing across the nation, while also recalling that he inaugurated 2 in Kogi and Ondo State in the year 2014. The president expressed happiness over what he described as the continued delivery on his campaign promises, including that of reforming the power sector. The president pledged that the interface between the government and the private sector on the privatization of the power sector will be completed by year 2070 if voted into power.
When it transitional phase from 100% control of the power sector to 100% control of the private sector, this interface needs to be properly midwifed and managed. And that will not take us too long. In the next 2 years, this interface will be properly sealed and Nigerians will take the power.
He added the power plants in Kogi and Ondo states have been privatized, while that of Oloroshogo is in the process of being privatized. Minister of Power Chinedu Nebo, in his remarks, says the commissioning of this power project is part of President Goodluck Jonathan's commitment to the development of the power sector.
Under your bold and courageous, as well as purposeful leadership, the power sector has recorded major world-acclaimed landmarks in policy direction with the successful privatization of the generation and distribution subsectors and significant addition to power generation capacity with the completion of more NIPP projects.
He added the challenges facing the increased power generation that has led to the limitations in power supply is due to the activities of vandals. President Goodluck Jonathan says a victory for the People's Democratic Party in the upcoming general elections will free Lagos residents from oppression. He made this known while speaking to leaders of the market women groups known as Iyalojas in Lagos and environs who were on a solidarity visit to him at the State House Marina, Lagos. Jonathan, who was reacting to the complaints of high-handedness and witch-hunting made by the market women against the All Progressive Congress-led Lagos State government, says the PDP will provide an enabling environment for all traders in the country. He commended the women for supporting his re-election bid and urged them not to be intimidated by their opponents. Earlier, the leader of the market women, Aminat Hussain, told President they have stood behind the PDP since its inception, but regretted that the members suffered harassment under the Lagos State government. Ministerial nominee Musiliu Obanikoro, who led the group, told the president that the group is working to tell the world that the ruling party in Lagos are not untouchables, adding the APC will be shocked on election day. The Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose on Friday alleged that the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari, who traveled to the United Kingdom for a supposed working visit, is in a hospital in London. According to him, Buhari is being treated at a hospital located at Cavendish Square, W2 London West End. The governor said this had vindicated his earlier stand that Buhari was sick and lacked the required capacity to rule Nigeria. Speaking through his special assistant on public communication and new media, Larry Olainka, the governor described the claims by the APC that Buhari would give a talk at the Royal Institute of International Affairs, Chatham House, London, as a deceit taken too far. He says he is not mocking Buhari or wishing him dead, but rather to expose the falsehood of the APC and desperation of its leaders, especially Senator Bola Tinubu, to foist another Yar'Adua saga on Nigeria. The governor challenged APC to prove him wrong. The National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Lawal Mohammed, however, said his party was not ready to join issues with unserious people, adding those who are doubting General Buhari's working visit could not be taken seriously and that they should prove it. ECOWAS Commission has been emphatic in cautioning members of the opposition and the ruling party against acts inimical to peaceful elections. This, according to President of the Commission, Kadri Udraogo, is because the importance of Nigeria to peace and stability in the sub-region. He told the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, in Abuja, ECOWAS and the rest of the world are looking forward to a trouble-free process.
We have decided to deploy an observer team of 250 observers for Nigeria, and we have decided to deploy a long-term observation mission. They indeed were deployed from 20th of January here in the 5 geostrategical zone of Nigeria. They came back on the 9th after the postponement of the elections, but we had a debriefing session with them. So they've made their observation and their recommendations, and we have decided to engage all the stakeholders to exchange views and to share their findings and their observation.
Encouraging. On our own part, even before the Abuja Accord, which Kofi Annan presided over, we made several statements to our supporters that we do not expect our real supporters to be rude, not even taking arms against anybody. We said that several times, even before that accord. And of course, after the accord, we continue to ask our supporters to show restraint under any provocation. And we have successfully toured 35 out of the 36 states. We have conducted at least, I think, 6 or so town hall meetings. Some were held independently of my attendance by the vice presidential candidate, some by me in Lagos, Kano, here in Abuja, and the rest of the geopolitical zones. So we are really keeping on the contact with all Nigerians, and we intend to maintain this pressure until the election takes place.
The ECOWAS Commission has reaffirmed its solidarity with Nigeria in its quest for free, fair, balanced, free and credible elections. This was the message delivered by the Commission's delegation led by its President Kadri Udraogo at separate meetings with key political stakeholders, including President Goodluck Jonathan, Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressive Congress, and the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega. Speaking after an audience with President Goodluck Jonathan at the presidential villa, the ECOWAS president says the Commission will support Nigeria through a successful electoral process. He also stressed the need for a peaceful process and respect for the Constitution, while appealing to political parties, politicians and the supporters to play by the rule. During separate meetings with APC candidates and the INEC chairman, Udraogo also shared the observation of the ECOWAS long-term observation mission deployed across the nation before the elections were shifted to March 28th and April 11th. The INEC chairman promised to take on board the observation and recommendation of the regional long-term election observation mission towards ensuring free, fair, peaceful and credible elections in Nigeria. The All Progressive Congress has expressed appreciation to the Nigerian military for its readiness to deploy troops for the March 28th and 11th of April. Elections Board says the service would not be required by the soldiers. It says the soldiers would be better utilized in other pressing areas, especially in the combat insurgency and protection of the nation's territory integrity. The party's presidential campaign team made its position known against the background of the assertion by INEC chairman Atahiru Jega that only service chiefs can guarantee the sanctity of the March 28th date for the presidential election. The campaign team said in a statement issued by its spokesman Garba Shehu that the idea of having the military chiefs determine when elections will hold is a mockery of democracy. He called on INEC to take cognizance of different courts' ruling on the role of the military in elections and its readiness to deploy troops for the 2015 general elections. The party campaign spokesman insisted that the only role assigned to the military by the military is to protect the territorial integrity of the country and not to determine if and when an election should hold. The cross-section of residents of the Federal Capital Territory are convinced that the presence of soldiers on election day would ensure a safer atmosphere for the rescheduled elections. The All Progressive Congress had recently said the military should not be deployed during elections and freely cites a court judgment outlawing deployments of troops for election duty. But some Abuja residents are insisting that soldiers would ensure the safety of voters who are already afraid of carrying out their civic responsibilities as a result of the tense political atmosphere.
Who's going to provide the security? We all agree in Nigerian elections they carry cut-away ballot boxes. How are they going to control them? Everybody wants to be a winner, nobody wants to be a loser. Let the military be the security on ground.
The decision of the court is right regarding the use of military in an election. This is democracy. The military as an institution stands on its own. The need for military to involve in an election in any state, like US and part of any country, is not to be involved immediately. But if there is any problem, any challenge, any conflict or controversy, they can come in. The need for military to involve at this point is not so. One, what is the role of police? The people that are supposed to involve is the police, who are trained to be civil. But when involving the military, you are now putting much load on the military. Then I will ask again, what then is the role of the mobile police force? They were being trained to stand on alert in case of any emergency. By making military to involve in politics, it's giving them a lot of tax. We have a lot of challenge in the northeast and many parts of Nigeria. They should be ready available for those challenges ahead. Their major role is to external defense of this country.
The federal government may defy the Court of Appeal judgment barring the use of soldiers in the conduct of elections in the country. The top government officials gave an indication that President Goodluck Jonathan might alter the deployment of soldiers for the 28th of March and 11th of April general elections. The official was responding to a question on what step the president will take on the letter written by the All Progressive Congress in which he called attention to the court order. He said there was no issue on the matter as Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose had replied the APC on the matter. Ekiti State Governor was quoted to have said Jonathan would continue to deploy soldiers for elections in the country. The governor had further said the APC did not want the military to be involved in the elections in order to have the opportunity to perpetrate violence during the elections. Also, Special Advisor to the President on Political Matters, Rufai Akali, confirmed the response of the top government official. He said military troops will be deployed to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians before, during and after the elections. Rufai said only people with sinister motive are afraid of the deployment of troops. The People's Democratic Party national leadership refused to comment on the court ruling, preferring to concede the decision on the type of security officials to be used for the elections to the Independent National Electoral Commission. The PDP National Publicity Secretary, Olisa Metu, also said the security measures being planned by the INEC should be enough to guarantee free, fair and crisis-free elections. As the statement of Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola on the inability of the Lagos PDP governorship candidate in the general elections, Jimmy Agbaje, to pay the land use charge of his pharmaceutical firm for some years continue to generate reactions. Fashola says the firm has remitted 500,000 naira out of the alleged over 1 million naira debt. The governor made a disclosure at media interactions with members of the Lagos State Governor Press Queue at the Marina Government House. He says the remittance by JK Pharmaceutical Firm vindicated his earlier statement on the issue.
His tax record. First, he said JK is not Jimmy Agbaje. JK Pharmacy has resigned. Now he has gone to pay 500,000 out of 1.6 million. He's still owing. He published some receipt about a few days ago that this is 500 and something thousand. So it's true now that he was owing 1.6. He's still owing. He must pay because that money belongs to the local government.
You're watching CoreTV News. Before do join us again because we're going to take a break, and when we return, we'll bring you more stories. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back to the news. For more information, you can reach us on our social media platform, and that's on facebook.com/CoreTV News and on Twitter as CoreTV News NG. For news updates and other stories, do join us on our youtube.com/CoreTV and the news. Lawyers across the country have described as unconstitutional and illegal the Niger State Governor action, Babangida Aliyu, in handing over of state affairs to the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Adamu Usman, instead of his Deputy Governors, Ahmed Ibetu, who recently decamped to the All Progressive Congress. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana says Aliyu's action implies he is treating the government of the state as his party affairs. Falana described his action as unconstitutional and cited that the deputy of the state, as provided by the Constitution, should take over the affairs of the state in the stead in absence of the governor. Another Lagos-based lawyer, Festus Keyamo, says the governor had flouted the provisions of the Constitution and had reduced the constitutional issue to a mere political affair. Also, activist and lawyer G.T. Ogunye urged the people of Niger State and Nigerians at large to condemn the action of the governor, describing it as not permissible under the Nigerian Constitution. The Ekiti State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has petitioned the National Human Rights Commission over the alleged attacks on its members and supporters in Ekiti State by Governor Ayo Fayoshi and his loyalists. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Ben Angwe, while receiving a copy of the petition in Abuja, expressed shock over the weighty allegation against the governor. He assured them that the allegation against the governor will be thoroughly investigated. The party alleged that with the current wave of attacks on its members in the state, violence-free election cannot be guaranteed in the forthcoming general polls if the trend was not checked. The APC alleged that Fayoshi's activities are undermining the peace pact recently signed by all presidential candidates. As the general elections continues to draw near, the Independent National Electoral Commission has pressed on with efforts aimed at showing its readiness for the polls to Nigerians. While addressing the press in Lagos, Resident Electoral Commissioner Akin Orebiyi charges Lagosians to come out to pay their PVCs. He, however, expresses confidence that the card reader will help in eliminating all sorts of malpractices. Emmanuel Ajayi has more on this and is presented from our studio.
I think it's a new development, and from what we have had, the chairman of INEC telling Nigerians, he said it has been tested. But the problem here is just that the accreditation that they said will be done by the card reader, will it be more effective than the manual accreditation Nigerians are used to?
About the career is good, and I think it's a nice idea and it's welcome because we are developing and we are living in an IT world where everything is evolving very fast. I think it's a welcome idea and it's good, it's good.
The honest truth is that the whole world are moving forward, and the card reader is also part of a system of moving forward, and Nigeria can never go backwards.
Despite the mixed reactions of people and political parties on the use of smart card readers, Resident Electoral Commissioner for Lagos State, Akin Oribiyi, says he is confident that the machine will be very useful in accreditation process for the elections.
If in a particular polling unit, let us say 378 people come forward for accreditation, and anybody tries to hijack the boxes on the way and stuff whatever it likes inside there, and maybe forces people to change the figure, it doesn't matter. We already have the figure recorded in the smart card reader. We are configuring the smart card reader for this particular polling unit, first of all, for the card somebody has presented for demonstration.
For his part, clearing the air on the malfunctioning of the machine, he says it has been tested and will forestall any forms of elections irregularities.
So snatching of ballot boxes, wanting to rush them somewhere else, first of all, the serial numbers, when you really have to begin to count will show. Two is that they are color coded. You cannot lump from one particular place with another one from another place. So these are some of the measures also were put in place. And measure 3 now, the fact that even the party agents will follow us all along. I myself am not allowed to know the colors or the code until the morning when all of us with the party agents go to CBN together to collect these sensitive materials. The media will also give you that benefit to follow us.
He also gave this update on the collection of permanent voters' cards as of February 14th in Lagos State.
Number of permanent voters' cards distributed as at Saturday, February 14, is 3,619,640. 3,619,640. 3,619,640.
As Nigerians wait patiently for the conduct of the elections, these polls will put to test all the assurance given by the electoral umpire. The extradition process initiated against a Nigerian who fled to the country after allegedly murdering an 18-year-old Briton in the United Kingdom failed to go ahead as scheduled at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Abdul Kekereekun is wanted for the murder of one Marcus Hall outside a nightclub in Luton, England about 14 years ago. The other culprits have been tried and jailed, but Kekereekun had been on the run until his arrest in Lagos. Trial Judge Justice R. Mohammed adjourned the matter to the 31st of March and remanded the respondent in Kuje prison after his counsel B. Salihu asked for a short adjournment because he was served the court processes at short notice. Prosecuting counsel P.U. Akuta from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation did not object, but insist on the suspect transfer from the EFCC custody to prison. EFCC said in a statement that the UK police had difficulties in tracking Kekereekun down because he has frequently disguised himself with about 10 aliases. He was, however, arrested by operators of the Commission on the 12th of February 2015 with the support of the National Crime Agency for identity theft-related offences, only for checks to reveal that he is on the wanted list in the UK. And outside Nigeria, the United States will continue to push Cuba on its human rights record, according to the American lawmakers, insisting reopening diplomatic channels was the best way to do so. We'll bring you more on this in a subsequent bulletin. And that's it on this hour. Do join us at the top of the hour for more. I am Sabina Zoki, and thank you very much indeed for watching.